Nataka kuona watu wa Coast sasa, na tafadhali mtu wa Coast kuja hapa, tumesikia English tumechoka. Please. English hii we are tired. Please tuonyeshe Kiswahili na liwe sanifu. Si ndio na English. Ampige makofi ya kushefu.
Tajaribu kwa kadri ya uwezo wangu laiti mngalijua, lakini tuachie hapo kwanza. Tumeambiwa maneno mazito, lakini maneno yenye itatupa mwelekeo. Ukweli uongo? Na sisi kama madaktari kubebwa utoto ni mambo tulisema hapana. Tulisema lini? Okay. Sasa hii mambo ya Kiswahili mtaniwia radhi kidogo. Najaribu kuchanganya hapa na hiyo kimombo yetu, lakini ukisikia nimeteleza kidogo msiniite na kumicha tafadhali. Kwanza kuna saying nimesema vizuri sana na my fellow chair Dr. Ayabe. A wet dream does not make anyone Kwa hivyo kwa Kiswahili sijui yasemwaje, lakini mtatupa kamusi na masaa tutaweka kwa t-shirt tutembee nayo. Maji haeki mwanamke mimba. Nitaachia hapo, sisemi maneno mingi. Lakini leo tumeambiwa maneno mengi. Na hayo maneno ningependa tuyatilie manani, kwa sababu jambo ambalo ni muhimu tumeambiwa ni kufikiria ule mkataba wetu, ile CBA. Mambo mengine yote tuliambiwa juzi na katibu wetu pale ni kelele ya kunguru. Hatuwezi kuwa tunaambiwa leo maneno haya, kesho maneno haya, na ule mwenye anakwambia hivyo anakuja na mikono michafu katika meza. Mtajadilianaje? Mtaambianaje maneno ambayo yanafaa kuendeleza mambo ya sisi madaktari? Hatuwezi kuwa tunaambiwa leo maneno haya, kesho maneno haya mengine. Ile kitu muhimu ningependa sisi kama madaktari tutilie manani ni 1, sikiza viongozi wenu. 2, repeat. 1, nothing else matters. Mliambiwa ukipigiwa simu utishiwe, hiyo simu ni kelele ya chura. Kelele ya chura haimkatazi ng'ombe kunywa maji wapi? Mtoni. Na pale imefika zile kelele tunazisikia kutoka hata wenzetu wengine. Na wenye tumesema we are a cult. Na sisi kama cult, hatusemi kama ile dini ya Msambwe, lakini cult. Hata hiyo si mbaya pia. Kuna wale ambao walikuwa adherent followers wa hiyo dini. Na ile ningesema wale ambao wanataka kusabotage with the tribe, we will follow you na tutadili na nyinyi ipasavyo. Ile ningependa kuambia wale ambao wameshikilia, endeleeni kushikilia. Kaeni ngumu. Hakuna kitu inapatikana kwa rahisi. Amani haipatikani ila kwa ncha. Kwa hivyo ndio leo ni Kiswahili yangu ya siku ishe. Ningependa kuambia madaktari tukae ngumu, hata ikichukua siku 300, 400, 500 mpaka tupewe hizo vipengele zote ambayo tulipeana katika ile petition yetu. Sawa? Asanteni.
Appreciate, mpigie makofi. Wewe Dr. Niko, mpigie makofi vizuri bana. Watu wa Coast katika ile hali ya kuendelea kuongea hiyo lugha ya Kimombo hiyo, sio? Lugha ya Kimombo. Kuna Meru, niwaambia Meru wanajua kuzungumza Kiswahili kizuri, Kiswahili kitamu. Kuna hata kusalimiana. Wani mleta salimiane. Siweza tusikie huyu Meru anasema nini. Anaongeanga mbio. Kama ni sawa. Wewe kuja bwana, kuja. Appreciate Dr. Mgambi. Haya sawa. Tafadhali nataka kuwapatia only 1 minute. Nataka kufanya ile, unajua ile design. Nikiona unaongea sana nakuja nyuma yako. So nikuja nyuma yako najua sawa Mgambi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Comrades, power. Ria. Ra. Bwana. Kwani hamna nguvu. Comrades, power. Ria. Ra. Asante. Thank you. My name is Dr. Dennis Mugambi. I'm the branch chairperson for KMPD in Upper Eastern branch. Captain Vizuriman. Upper Eastern branch is the counties of Embu, Tharaka Nithi, Meru, Isiolo, and Marsabit. I just want to really rush very fast, and I turned over a new leaf this particular January. Tulikuwa tunakula mali na kina Rotich na kina Sadio, lakini nikawacha. So I started preaching the word of God.
Mali gani.
So I just want to teach you something very simple. There was one particular time in the Bible that Jesus gave a story about somebody who was moving from Jerusalem to Jericho. And now, during that particular setting, he says that this particular person was accosted by thieves. Then kaibiwa kila kitu, and he was left, essentially to die. And somebody called a Levite passed by, and somebody called also a preacher or a priest passed by. Then whatever the Levite did was to ask, what if I stand to help this particular man, what will happen to me? Because essentially, even in this particular Nairobi, some people mtu ana pretend kukua mkora, alafu when you just stand, you are allowed from a vehicle to assist them, you are accosted by those particular thieves. So the question that they did ask is, if I were to stand by or stop by and assist this man, what is going to happen to me? Then we are told about a very important person called the Good Samaritan. This Good Samaritan came and did ask. If we essentially reversed the question from, if I stop to help this man, what will happen to me? It's about thinking about self. Then he came and reversed the question and said, if I do not stop to help this man, what will happen to him? And today, and during this particular strike, we have been called to reverse the question, and reverse the question as a Good Samaritan, in terms of, if I do not stand, if I do not stop and assist the interns, what is going to happen to the interns? All of us we know, right? If today we do not stop and assist the doctors who are suffering in Kirinyaga under very poor contract terms, what is going to happen to those particular doctors in Kirinyaga? And that is a question that everyone and each one of us is being called to. And I want to address the government today and tell them they need to be like the Good Samaritan and reverse this particular question. It's not about question, if we implement the CBO of doctors, what will happen to our taxes? What will happen to the money that we're supposed to steal? What will happen to the monies of tender? We need to ask ourselves, if we do not stop to assist the doctors of this particular country, what is happening to the citizens of this country as they die right now? That is the question that we're being asked today, and it is the same questions I want to pose to all Kenyans. If we do not stop today and assist doctors when they're agitating for their rights, what is going to happen to them? That is a question we are addressing to ourselves, we are addressing to the public, and we are addressing to the government. Kitu ingine nataka kuwafundisha baada ya preaching is a saying from Meru. Meru anasema, ukiingia kwa choo bana, hata ukinyamba namna gani, huwezi bomoa ukuta za choo. No matter what you do, hata ukipiga mnyambo ina gani, huwezi bomoa ukuta ya choo. So kitu yenye nasema leo hii naambia na kumicha, yake ni hawezi bomoa ukuta za nini? Za KMPDU. KMPDU viva!
Viva! Ria!
Asanteni.
Hey, appreciate, sir. I also want to pose a question. Muganda mwingine na base, I want to pose a question. If Mugambi was not a doctor, what will he be? Sawa. Naangalia tumetoka hapa Eastern twende Lower Eastern. Sio hivyo sasa. Pigia makofi. Watu wa hapa Eastern huko. Lower Eastern wapi? Watu wa Lower Eastern. Ndio kukutana mtu mmoja.
Wako sawa.
Dr. Stiagas. You know, when you say tear gas like that, I recall that particular canister that flew, you know, and hit the SG. And you guys were not as annoyed as you were. Were you annoyed? Mi nakumbuka, we had that news, and what we did immediately was make sure our hospitals were closed. And the people who closed this hospital were the contract doctors. How many contract doctors are here? By a show of hands. Madaktari wa contract. Ndio wale pale mnawaona. As we proceed with this strike, I want us to recall one thing. We have come from fast doctors in this country. In 2017, the CBA that we fought for, it's like the constitution of Kenya. Ni kama ile independence tulipata kama daktari. Si ni kweli? Si ile independence tulipata kama daktari. So now what that means, ni kama sasa Kenya tuambiwe wazungu wanarudi. Na kweli tumeona wakirudi. Si tumeona Chinese wakikuja. So I think at the end of the day, we have to remember that particular CBA is our constitution as KMPDU. Number 2 is the issue of to embarrass you here. Lakini tunajua wale self-sponsored registrars pia wako hapa, si ni kweli? And what we are saying, if you have worked in these places where registrars exist, then you know that this is the epitome of slavery that we see in our chama cha madaktari. Si ni kweli? So for me, SG and team and the whole community of doctors, we have to remember, just like one of us has said here, we have to remember that this is an existential threat that we face as doctors. Sisi kule Lower Eastern, na chairman ulisema eti nilienda nikachukua branch wenyewe. Ni kweli? And you know, ni kweli? Sometimes when we have such gatherings in the branch, and people wonder, sasa wale hukumu wametoka wapi? But we always tell them that for a doctors community, we are one branch. Si kweli? It doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter. But we share those things that we have been taught by hypocrites, some of which we have changed. And we also share the things we have in the CBA. Si kweli? So the issue of registrars, self-sponsored registrars, you muangalie. And I believe there can be a solution to that particular item so that we don't have people who are losing, number one, families. Kuna watu wanapoteza familia. I think I know them individually. We don't want people who are working overnight so that they have to survive. So that together with the contract doctors issue, I think that one we have to sort it out before we call off the strike. La mwisho, mimi alimefika, I think where we are as KMPDU, lazima sasa tukue chama. Si ni kweli? I think mali imefika, you see every day when you are in medical school, you are training, you are reading a lot. How many medical students are here? Tuonyeshe kwa mkono. Ria, comrades Tiagas. Comrades Tiagas. Comrades Ria. Comrades Viva. Viva. As you guys are aiming to complete your education, we know education is the ultimate equalizer. Si kweli? Sasa wewe uko pale unasoma, unaenda pale ward ukiangalia ile salary yenye Mailu alisign. Namo ilikuwa minister mgani at that time? Ilikuwa Mailu. Wewe uko pale ukijua I have to finish, go for internship, join the profession. Alafu unapatana pale na Suzy. Lakini ndio tunasema when the wildebeests come in Mara and they have to cross over, indeed they will cross despite the crocodile of Nakumicha that will be there waiting for you to swallow you with a salary of 47,000. Si mtavuka? Interns mtavuka? Tuone interns wale wako hapa. Kwa mkono. Interns hata ndio wengi hapa leo kushinda registrars. So wale self-sponsor registrars ikifika eti mnalipwa 50,000, msikuje kuulia intern akilipwa 206,000. Juu siwaoni kwa mkutano. Naona 1 or 2 self-sponsor registrars. Lakini tunaona interns wameshikilia. Sasa we have to think, colleagues, how we can make our union a political party. Si ni kweli? Kwani kuregister political party ni pesa ngapi? Na subscription zenu ni pesa ngapi? Viva! Viva KMPGU, viva! Doctors power! Doctors power! Doctors Tiagas! Mkisema Tiagas, mkumbuke ile Tiagas ilichapa SG. Na mkafurike kabisa. So as I finish, we have to realize that in this country, you either sit on the table or you're on the menu. And if you're not sure, you're most likely on the menu. I think that is why we have to protest every day. You know? And that is why we have to struggle to get CBAs registered. Arrears in our 2017 CBAs. I'm sure kila mtu hapa, labda intern ndio yuko kwa hiyo hesabu, lakini the rest of you here, you are owed to the tunes of 500,000 plus. Sasa hiyo ni pesa MCA anapatanga kila mwezi. Ama pa DM ya kwenda kule Turkey ama kwenda China, wanaturudia na vitu wazieleweki ya benchmarking. Monkey business. So what we are saying is this. For me, I think I'm passionate about this. It's about that time we need to mobilize our resources, register a political party, and we shall float. Kama sio miskela, ni davji. Si kweli? Tuweke waende pale bungeni, washikilie mambo ya madaktari kikuja pale ama healthcare workers kikuja pale, then we do not have to have our young ones suffer like we are seeing them suffering. And all of you here, I'm sure in one way or the other, you know someone in medical school, someone who is trying to go for internship, someone who is a registrar. So at the end of the day, you might not be yourself, the intern, but you will be affected in ways that you cannot imagine. Kwa hayo machache, I will end by saying, Doctors Tiagas! Tiagas! Doctors Tiagas! Tiagas! Namkumbuka ile Tiagas ilipiga SG. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate Dr. Okunu. Mpige makofi tena. I've just realized, mmoja nilikuwa nashangaa, why are we not full? Why are we not full? And then I realized watu wa Nyanza hawajakuja. Unajua hivyo? Watu wa Nyanza hawajakuja. Hawa wanapenda strike. Wanapenda tear gas. Lakini wanafanya demonstration, eh? So ukisema today there's a demonstration. So ile that paka pale. Hiyo ni space yao. Yes, uko tayari? Karibu. Huyu ni future doctor, si ndio? Kuja karibu, piga makofi, akimaliza kwa salimia chairman Wilson atakuja atufungie hiyo chapter. Ndakuja kidogo. Sawa, okay. Comrades power. Comrades abuju. Comrades. Yes. Asante sana. So my name is Otai Philip Otieno. Viva, 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 viva. Yes, Top Notch is my name.
and I serve as the Secretary General of the University of Nairobi Students Association, Faculty of Health Sciences. and Madaktari, there's one thing. I know I have applied 17 times. I heard that there's an online pharmacy degree that takes 2 years at Ege University in Turkey. I have applied 17 times. The admin of Ege has blocked me. And we've been seeing that Nakumecha should resign, right? We are now heading to a point where we will now call for the resignation of the president of Turkey. How can you have such a university? You know? Yeah. So I didn't know that ladies will also be goons abroad. So Susie is a joker. Comrades power. Comrades Ria. Comrades ability. You know, yesterday when we were actually having a conversation with my friend Steve Nania in the corridors of Kenech, he told me we were vehemently retorting on a point, and it was like that the hottest corners of hell are reserved for the individuals who maintain neutrality in moments of moral crisis. Comrades Ria. Comrades Ability. Comrades Ria. And as medical students, we have vowed that we shall not falter in the face of adversity. Neither are we going to listen or succumb to the siren song of complacency. Comrades Ria. Comrades power. Another thing that you know, I've been perambulating around these media stations, but there's one thing that we are forgetting to talk about as the healthcare custodians, and it's on the budgetary allocation to the healthcare system. You know, you cannot allocate 7% of the national budget to the healthcare system. What is that? It was 4, not even 7. 7 is an overstatement, right? I'm even helping the government. I should be the spokesperson. So you cannot allocate 4% of the national budget to the healthcare system. What is that? That is professional witch hunt. It is like, I can only liken it to a scenario of a black man seated in a dark room winking at a black woman and expecting a reaction. Where on earth is that? Comrades power! Comrades power! Comrades Ria! So now on to important matters. As the medical students in this country, we are dismayed. A pall of despondency is heavily hanging on the medical profession. And we are not at peace wherever we are. Myself, I decided to forego a scholarship to the Stanford University to pursue computer science. I then left and applied to Pretoria and checked whether they were offering medical course. I found one, but xenophobia hit. So I decided to stay to become a village surgeon in our own University of Nairobi. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. But right now, as you look at me, I'm older than my age. And I'm reduced into a seasoned activist and a grassroots mobilizer. That is not the life that my parents want for me. That is not the life that my future kids will marvel at. That they are seeing clips of their father running in lab coats, saying, "Comrade, viva, 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 viva." Watu wa Nyanza mko wapi bwana? Watu wa Nyanza mko wapi bwana? Na weka ngoma kidogo, weka ngoma kidogo. Na hujamaliza, utamaliza. Yes, okay. Namalizia kabla nimeingie kiuno. So these are things that we have to talk about, and as medical students, we are very much aware of them. The CBA that was signed in 2017, that was agreed on, that was a solemn pact that was signed by stakeholders that was imbued with promises of better working conditions and equitable pay. And so to renege on such commitments is not only an egregious comrades power. Comrades rear. Another thing, to our registrars, actually in the medical school, we get taught by registrars. We have more hours of contact with registrars than anybody else. Okay? But when you cannot remit, you cannot disburse the school fees for these registrars undergoing the postgraduate studies, then you're killing the profession. The sanctity of our education must not be held hostage by the caprices of administrative inadequacy. How together? And my good friend here asked me to now say it in mother tongue. Eh? You know, I trace my antecedents from the lakeside, and this is all I can say. This is all I can say in Bongo. That right now, Sani, Punda Usedonji Kul, Dok Mama Nkuruga Kroksiwa. Comrades power! Thank you very much. Shika. Wapigie makofi bwana, wapigie makofi. Pigia makofi wewe. Daktari unasema unaitwa nani? Philip Otieno. Top notch. Ayo ndio top notch. Wewe pia ukuje pole pole. Nisikii wewe tu bado tuko na miaka ya kushikilia hizi viti wewe. Sasa kunyang'anya sisi viti. You can go for any seat. Sawa, top notch. Any seat, usikuje ya Nairobi chair. Wewe. I fear you. Mpigie makofi tena, mpigie makofi. Chair Western. Wewe pia unje kiluya kuja. Dr. Top Notch. Doctors Top Notch. Doctors Top Notch. Top Notch, when I met you first in Mandamano, what did I tell you? Nilikwambia uko na potential ya kwenda all the way. Thank you. Doctors power. Doctors ria. Yeah, so hapa maneno yamesemwa mingi, hata mimi sitaongeza mingi sana. Because we have been here, tumeongea, we started by dancing, we've had a very nice moment over here. So mimi niko tu chama na Yabe ametuambia maneno mbili. Hata mimi nitawaambia tu maneno mbili leo. Tawaambia maneno mbili. You know, my mom really loves me, by the way. Mimi ni kijana ya mama. Na wakati nilikuwa naenda kampu, my mom told me, Sajo, kama unataka kwenda kampu na upate msichana mrembo, kuna vitu mbili tu zenye lazima uavoid. You must avoid at all times having a smelly mouth, and you must also avoid at all times having smelly feet. What is the medical word for smelly feet? Akuongelea hiyo. What is the medical word for smelly feet? Sio phalangosis. Sio phalangosis. DSG. Mimi niko na spread phalangosis. Bromodosis. What is the medical word for a smelly mouth? I have two things to tell my comrades that are busy going to work when doctors are here. When doctors are here being as an assembly na wewe unang'ang'ana kwenda kazini. Utaenda kazini peke yako, you will work the whole day, you won't have time to rest. What will smell? Miguu yako itanuka. Utakaa kazini peke yako, you will not talk to anyone, your mouth will smell, your wife will stop kissing you. Mama yangu alikuwa wai sana. Now, when I came now and I started working, my mom also told me two things. Akanambia, Sajo, I know you are a very active person, but there are two things that I want to tell you. Ukianza kufanya kazi, this is Kenya. When people are going to work, make sure you also go to work. Because if you abscond, if you are going to work when people are going to work, then you are doing what? You are absconding duty. But ukiona watu wanaenda strike, comrades, you must also go to strike. Kwa sababu watu wakienda strike na wewe unajifanya unaenda kazini, your colleagues can come to work and actually stone you. Because this is a cult. Tumeambiwa hii ni cult. Wewe cult inafanya maneno yake and then you are trying to waste the resolve, you are trying to water down the resolve. My message, and I hope mama you can see me, I'm live. Nimewambia watu ile maneno ya mdomo. So this is a message to my colleagues who are going to work and watering down this resolve. You will be the biggest beneficiaries of this strike. So we must come out today. We relaunched the strike in Kirinyaga County yesterday. SG leading us. Tunataka ishike kushika. Our chairman told us that this strike was going to be short and sweet, because it didn't mean that we are going to have it for, 1 second. Short and sweet, ilimaanisha it is supposed to be the last strike that we are going to ever have. Kwa sababu baada hii strike, lazima kitakuwa kinaeleweka. Threats are coming from all over. I know right now as I'm speaking, I'm being called from my home county in Vihiga. Naambia, zile promotions zilikuwa zimebaki, governor anaenda kupatiana. Naambia bana, kumbukeni our governor ni Muluya. Ni kama Sakaja, anasema nitawapati yako. It is a verbal promise. Mkienda ati mnaenda kuchukua wako, hizo vitu you are not gonna get them. Kama ni barua anaandika, aandike. Siku yenye SG na call of strike, tutaenda kuchukua promotion na turudi kazini. But you are not taking any verbal promises, comrades. I know the SG. I can say this, that I know the SG. Hata apewe 100 million leo, he is not going to call off this strike without members getting what the SG promised to deliver to members. Comrades, power! So I would like to stop there. DJ na kuomba uniite short and sweet. Short and sweet. Yes, kisha DSG akuje. Tafadhali DJ. Thank you so much. Wewe amkeni bwana nini? Wapi DSG? Ongeza DSG anakuja nako kwa simu. Twende. Twende basi, twende. Uko wapi mabega? Fanya kama Sajo. Sajo tuonesha. Kila mtu bwana. DJ lakini sasa wewe. Ati DJ pia amestrike. DJ amestrike. Amekuja kwenda huko. Haya sawa, anasepa, haina shida. Nataka nipe one knock member wa kutoka Central. Kwa sababu mbona chair hayuko, nimeangalia secretary hayuko, natafuta treasurer hayuko. Najua they had something today. Kuna mtu
Any back member from Central, kuja tuambie kitu tujue Central. Watu wetu wakwaje huko, watu wa Kirinyaga jana mlikuwa na meeting. Anyone? Who? Okay. Haiko eh? Okay, sawa sawa. Haya. Kuja gani basi? Comrades power.
Najua kuna mambo mengine hayajaongewa hapa. Acha tuongee kidogo. Kwa majina wanijua naitwa Dr. Ghalib Salim. Mimi ni branch secretary wa Coast Branch. Nimefanya internship yangu Busia. I was in that 100-day strike as a medical intern, of which I suffered for those 100 days. So I know how strike can struck. I know how strike can make and how the strike can get whatever we want. We were earning less than 100K, if we could remember, those who done 2016 to 2017 internship. And for those who are now, they are getting the fruits of 2017 to 2021 CBA. So whatever the things that we are doing, I think kulikuwa na Linda Afya 1, kulikuwa na Linda Afya 2, and those people can attest to me. Whatever they were given as a salary as a medical officer, they used to get at around 42,000 to 50,000. So we have come far, and it is not here to stand, and we are still want to go to have another CBA signed from 2021 to 2025. So it is upon us as all doctors to be united. And if the government and if the county government have failed to do so, what we need to do is to take us and send back to the sender. They need to take us back to the national government so that it could be a centralized posting of interns. After posting of interns, that will be posting of medical officers to each and every facility in this country. And after that, everyone will be okay. But now what we need to fight is for the Health Service Commission. That is the only way for us. We can get our dues, we can get our promotion on time, we can get our study leaves on time, we can get whatever we want. But most of the governors are mistreating us and are misleading us. It has come to a time when all of us need to stand together, not consultants, not medical officers, not registrars, not interns, not even students. We need to come together as one. This is the only time we need kujiokoa sisi sote. Walimu walijiokoa. Sisi tukawachwa tuko hospitalini tufanya kazi. It is our time now to stand firm. We need to hit and to hit hard, not to hit soft. We need also to pass this message to our fellow doctors who think they can solo cite or they can be given favors when we are going back. That means they have been promised study leaves, they have been promised promotions. It is shame on them to stay at work and to let others to go so that they can get this benefit. As our colleague has said, this is a cult. We cannot forgive and we cannot forget. This is the only time we can call them by names. And this is the only time for us to stand together and be unified as all doctors and all professionals in Kenya. There is no one here who can attest and say standing alone is better than standing standing together. It's something we can say. Tunaambia kwa Kiswahili wambiwa mtu mmoja, kumi moja waweza ukaivunja, lakini kumi nyingi zikisikanishwa pamoja kuzivunja ni ngumu. Sasa hivi imefika wakati kukimwona mwenzako kichwa cha nyolewa chako kitie maji. They have started with interns. They want to give them stipend. Then they will come to medical officers. they will, as we now know, they have removed non-practicing allowance. If they have started to touch your payslip, what about others? They will come one by one. So they will remove our CBA, and it is in place, it is signed, and it has already started doing its work. Or even katika hiyo sisi tunahitaji pesa zetu za CBA arrears ambazo kwamba tunazidai kutoka 2017 to 2024. That is our hard money, sweat and blood. For now, it is upon us to stand together. What we need from each and everyone is unity. Nothing more, nothing else. Our unity is to down our tools. If you cannot come to this assembly, stay at home. Stay at home, watch TV, if it's Cocomelon or anything. And Cocomelon. Because most of our kids, when they come from school, they say they want to watch Cocomelon. So we can stay with our kids and watch Cocomelon. The only thing we can just go back to work. It's only when the SG says, Jameni, this is what we have. This is what we are going to get. And it's the only word of an SG that will take us back to work. Without any other ado, I'll give back to
Mpigie makofi. You know, ukiona mtu wa Coast anaongea Kiingereza, jua kumeharibika. Yes, amekuwa serious. And I like the way you've brought the mood to some form of seriousness. Because the next session, when I want to call someone very serious, akuja to address. This guy looks like me. Amedress kama mimi leo. Amamua pia taki long trouser ifike long. Ina hang juu kidogo. Unaona nani? Angalia mtu anakaa hivyo. Jamaa pia kuna misuli hivi. Unaona? Misuli amevaa fit. Akona luku. Hata mimi niko na luku. The only thing inakonao na mimi sina ni si pesa, ni tumbo. Acha maneno. Chairman, come on, address us. Pigia makofi chairman anapokuja kutu address. We are going to serious things. Chairman akishaongea, Malindi will come, take it up, ukaribishe DSG atakaribisha SG na tumalize. Sivyo ni sawa? Appreciate chairman, appreciate. Pigia makofi.
Varo, Diocletians, Varo. Bagi inafanya nini kwa mgongo?
Mimi nimevaa bagi akaniambia protocol, tena nenda kaa chini basi. Anasema nimevunja protocol.
Tumbo inafanya nini kwa suruali? That's where you go wrong. You're out of order. Thank you, noticed.
Pole che. Sawa. Nimeambiwa che atakuja kuongea just before SG. Sawa. That is in order. Doctors power. Now, wacha nikaribishe my secretary. Unajua tuko Nairobi, na huyu secretary asipoongea atanemeza. Anapanga pia mtu wa Coast. Na watu wa Coast wako na mdomo. Si kweli? Okay, pole. Ngoja utasikia ninatuongea. Okay, sawa. Akiongea to address, we'll call DSG. DSG will invite SG and the team from National.
Doctors power. Ninataka tuimbe nyimbo moja. Nyimbo yenye tumeambiwa ni sauti moja tu tunatambua. Sauti ya nani? Ya SG. SG ndiye aliitisha strike, SG nata call off strike. So sauti tunatambua ni ya nani? SG. So tusimame kidogo tuchangamke kiasi. It's a gospel song for those who go to church. I'm sure mshaisikia pahali, but now we change it to suit ourselves, Sasa nitawafundisha kiasi tu, then we sing along. Ukiitwa na davji, itika. itika 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 itika. Let's sing along. Ukiitwa na Davji,
Itika 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 itika
itika itika itika itika. Kama sio mimi mwenyewe, kama sio wewe, kama sio sisi madaktari, nani atatutetea? Kama sio mimi mwenyewe, kama sio wewe, kama sio sisi madaktari, nani atatutetea?
hiyo ni ngumu.
Sawa? So we can now start. You know we're warming up our SG. He's coming to give us a speech. So we can start. Ukiitwa na Davji,
Itika
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 itika itika itika itika. Kama sio mimi mwenyewe, kama sio wewe, kama sio sisi madaktari, nani atatutetea? So we can have a seat. Now, I'm Dr. Malini Chao, the Bank Secretary in Nairobi. And actually, I was very happy. Kama the last time when we were demonstrating on Thursday, when tulijaza seats, and today tumejaza seats pia. Sisi kama Nairobi, anytime mkituita tuko hapo. We shall actually welcome you usiku, mchana, tuko pamoja. So, this strike, so far we've done so well, kusema tu ule ukweli, and we are seeing we are going to get fruits. Now this one goes out to these madaktari wenye tumeimba tukiimba, those who are coming to take up. Madaktari wana strike na wanaenda kuchukua kazi za madaktari wengine. So especially in KUTRH, we are having an issue in KUTRH kwa sababu we have doctors who are coming from other counties, all the way from Kisumu, wanakuja Nairobi kuchukua locum just because wanajua madaktari wengine wako nyumbani. That is very unfair. Hata mbele za Mungu sidhani kama ni haki. Sema si haki. Si haki. Wewe una doctor be at home, alafu wewe unakuja vizuri comfortably, unachukua kazi ya mwenzako akiwa nyumbani. But at the same time hatutachoka kuwatetea. Here we are here to fight for our struggles which we won in 2017, and we are not going to back down. Watatu threaten, sisi hata tushaambiwa barua ziko tayari, tunangoja tu tupewe. In fact, tumeambiwa will be served at our doors so that they make sure that they have reached. WhatsApp tunaweza sema hatukusoma, email tunaweza sema hatukusoma. So they are making sure that wamezileta. But we've seen it before. So tusiogope. We are here for a good cause, and believe you me, we shall win. We won in 2017 and we shall win in this 2024. Hakuna kitu nyingine zaidi ya hapo. So wacha tushikilie tu hapo. So far Kenyatta is a total shutdown. Sisi watu wa Nairobi, total shutdown. All counties hospital in Nairobi zimefungwa. Walijaribu kucheza mchezo with our contact doctors wakiwaambia kujeni, we'll give you jobs, tutawapatia. Just imagine a whole governor telling doctors who have been working 3-year contract, kujeni mchukue hizi locum, we'll pay you on locum. Instead of him even having the courtesy of telling them, kujeni mchukue barua, we'll convert you to PNP. You see, the way these politics are playing around with our minds. So tuliambia madaktari, nyikaeni tungumu, because we know these are just politics. If somebody wants to employ you, why will this person tell you kuja uchukue kazi on locum basis? He should just tell you kuja county, uchukue barua yako. After all, they had even shortlisted their names. Lakini waliwa shortlist, mwisho waka pull down the interviews so that they do what? Wawapatie locum terms. Na hiyo tumesema we don't want. We said no to locum terms for doctors. As we speak, hata juzi tulikuwa na meeting na tukaambia SG. He is the one who called this strike. We are foot soldiers and we are very loyal behind him. Now tukamwambia, before you call off the strike, make sure that our issues, our members' issues have been addressed. Number one, tukiongea niyo mambo ya locumers. Locumers, how can a doctor be on locum na renew every month? Surely you have become a casual worker. Tulimwambia hiyo hatutaki. These stories of being employed on contract, pia tumesema hatutaki. And he clearly said he is not going to call off this strike if these engagement terms have not changed. And we are actually waiting for his word. And we trust SG, you will deliver, right? Yes, he's going to deliver that. Sababu tunajua madaktari wengi sana are being employed on contract or locum. There's no career progression usually. Unapewa contract ya 3 years, hata ujafunga macho 3 years ndio hii imeisha, then you don't know what next. But now with this strike, we know it's going to be hard. Lakini tunaomba tushikilie tu hapo kidogo. They have started. KTRH, it has had all its doctors with show cause letters. Mpaka wenye wako maternity leave, daktari alijifungua juzi, amepewa show cause letter. And she is on maternity leave. KTRH washaanza kupatiana. The same thing we know it will happen to all the counties. All of us will be served with show cause letters. But what we are doing, we are addressing those show cause letters as a union. We don't want any doctor replying to that show cause letter. Cause this is not a normal disciplinary issue. This is a strike. We're on strike. So if it's anything, you have a union which is answerable to you. So that's why we are saying, receive that show cause letter, forward it for our email as a union, and we are going to respond it on your behalf. Wakitaka kukushika, wacha wakuja washike Malindi. Wakitaka kushika, wacha waende washike SG. Lakini do not respond to those show cause letters. We are going to work for you and we will reply those show cause letters on your behalf. Sasa bila kufanya mambo mingi, there are so many things zenye I'm sure SG ataongea because he is the one who is going to deliver it for us. Sisi tuko hapo nyuma tunamsupport because we know at the end of the day this is for good cause. Tumesema CBA is our Bible. The way tuna present our Bible, the same way Muslims wanashika Quran, CBA is our Bible. And we are going to defend it the best way we can defend it. Hata kubali mtu yote ashike our CBA in the name of I was not there. Those are the things they have been telling us. I was not there when this was being discussed. I was not there when this was being discussed. This office is not for anyone. I mean, we will be there today, tomorrow we won't be there. But things which happened, they have to acknowledge them. Whether watake, wasitake. Lazima CBA watupatie. So, I think with that, wacha nikaribishe, nafaa karibisha na? Wacha nikaribishe DSG. DSG is a very good insider by the way. Very good. Kama kuna talent amebarikiwa nayo ni hiyo. Akiingia kwa mkutano anachafonga kabisa mpaka kila mtu anatoka anasema kesho siendi job. Karibu wana DSG. KMPDU viva! Comrades power! DSG anapendanga solidarity. That is the song which keeps him going. Can you please stand up and sing solidarity? Yes. Tusimame solidarity, we sing solidarity. That is the song which keeps our DSG going every day. Sheleni mkono tupendaneni kidogo tu alafu tuendelee. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Relax. That is testing. Achana chairman, he's bullying me. Chairman, you're bullying me, you're roughing me. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.
Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. And the union's inspiration through the workers' bright servant that can build power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one, but the union makes us strong.
Solidarity forever.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. If they are all to hold in common with the greatest parasite who will mash us into serfdom and will crush us with his might. Is there anything left us but to organize and fight for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. We will never be divided. We will never be divided. We will never be divided. For the union makes us strong. We will always be united. for the union makes us strong. Viva Kabili, viva! Viva! Viva Madagazi, viva! Thank you. Asante, asante, asante. First of all, I have to appreciate each and every one of you who spared time to come for this meeting today in this assembly. The last time we had an assembly like this was almost 7 years ago during our 100-day strike. And in that period, we filled up this area, but it was on day 50 of the strike. So on day 20 of the strike, we are doing very well. We are at 20% fill-up rate. I hope that next time we call for the assembly, we'll be moving closer to filling up this place. Sindio? First of all, those who are here, are you committing to be here next time? By show of hands, who's committing to be here next time? Thank you. So I'm sure that I'll be starting at 20%. So thank you so much for doing that. As your leaders, I keep on telling people that we don't have any other magical power or mystical power to compel the employer to do their work. You know, for us, when we go on strike, they can withhold our salaries, they can write show cause letters, they can go to courts. Remember, courts are part of government. The government has 3 arms: legislature, executive, and judiciary. So when they go to court, that's just government being government. Yet, on our side, as your leaders, we have nothing to lose. We can't even go to court because we can't go to government to report government. The only power we have as your leaders is the power that your unity brings to us. The power that we can organize your individual grievances and aspirations into collective bargaining. So much so that I have to thank even those who are not here but have heeded the call to stay at home. Those who have stayed at home are just doing just okay. But in a political context like this, you must show your might. And the only time I get to face you guys is during such an assembly or during a match. All the other time, I'm facing the employer, assuming that you guys are behind me. And the employer can see behind me whether I have people or not. The only time I can turn and face and look if you're there is during such an assembly. So you must keep on coming. When we go for the demos, Kisumu, the Nyanza branch and Western have done an awesome job today. You'll see the videos online. They have done a very, very beautiful demo. But even in the few days that we have 10, 20 doctors like happened in Mombasa doing the demo, it's still perfect. People have done individual pictures and demos. The Mtatas of this world, the Magares of this world, they continue to do that individually. So never look at who is there. Look at, are you there? So, I can assure you that offers have been made. Very beautiful offers. No, right now I'm somewhere in Bahamas having sold all your dreams and aspirations. That is true. And when we turn down everything, they have now begun talking. You know, in a strike, there are those faces like in grief. The first time government will ignore you when you give the court order. Then they'll go to court to sue you, then you ignore the court order. Then they'll do the show cause letters and intimidate you guys. Then they'll stop the salaries. Then they'll sack you. Then finally, they'll sit down and talk. And the most important clause when leaving the strike, the last part, is no victimization. So all those letters are beautiful letters. You can fold them into your files. One day you'll show your children the strength and the resolve that you guys had because you dreamed of a better Kenya. So keep them. Don't respond to them.
you are on strike. Article 41 is clear on your right to strike. No strike will end without those measures being withdrawn, so don't worry. Those who are working, shame on them. Shame on them. Shame on them. It is the highest level of desperation that you can be a locum doctor in KU or in wherever they are, then will come out on the street to fight for you. Then you're the first one to go back to take those locum opportunities. It's embarrassing. If you see the kind of pride with which we dragged doctors out in KU, as the CEO and chair begged us to have mercy, and we told them, no, you have been a bad employer, we are taking our members. Only to hear that some of them have gone back to the same bad manners that have been crying to us years on end. There's a quote that I saved 1,000 slaves. I would have saved more if only they knew they were slaves. The same thing. We will save most of you and their issues, but you can do much more if only the doctors know they deserve better. And that I can't tell you. It's you to feel your pride. If you think about the painful sacrifices you have made from nursery school, from high school, from university, then you will know that you deserve much more better. They'll only treat you the way you want to be treated. If you want to lie down for them to step on you, they'll step on you and still complain you are not flat enough. So no matter what you do, just know that the employer has made a decision. Somebody somewhere believes that the doctor is being overpaid. Where they came with that idea, I don't know. But they believe it and they're coming for that salary. They already did that and went to court and sued them and stopped them on our allowances. They have come for the interns. The intern story is a very sad story, because Nakumicha one day woke up in that country, Nani was saying, Basio. When she woke up, she wrote a letter to SRC that these guys are being overpaid. Kindly consider paying them 50,000. And engage her girlfriend. Response less than 48 hours later without SRC ever meeting. That sure, a good idea. In fact, instead of 50,000, let's pay them 47,000. The 3,000 say you reduction, no how bad. You get that? The SRC never met. And then they come telling you that interns are not employees. But SRC only determines salaries for public officers and state officers. So at what point do we become an employee? Then next time you are not an employee. The double standards. You get that? Plus very many other things that we have seen in this strike. But all and short of it is that each and every one of you will be affected by this strike. If it succeeds, positively. If not, even in private sector, some of the people driving the cost of the insurance salaries are private sector. They say that if you pay an intern 206, when they come out as MOs, we can't underpay them now. So they want them to be paid 50, so that when they become MOs, they can pay them 100, and they feel like Wamafanya favor. You get that? So long as public sector is paying well, private sector will not pay. And as a union, we fought for this salary. You guys see, it was 38,000 when the union was being formed. We used to fight for Aga Khan registrar slots for 65,000. It became so well so that if you don't have a government job, you consider yourself unemployed. True or false? And now they want to drive you back to private sector to underpay you and overwork you. So we must say no. From the consultants to the medical officers, pharmacists, dentists, the interns, and most painfully the medical students. Because what do we tell them now? That the union betrayed their dreams because of fear and cowardice of a few of us. What do you tell that child in high school? To work hard to be what? If they see the guys who are being carried on TV marching on the streets. So it's a very, 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 very important thing, that if you don't do it for yourself, then do it for your children and their children. We live in a very, very selfish country. Healthcare has become part of business. Some of the biggest investors in healthcare are the same big boys and big girls we're negotiating with. So please, this fight is not for the faint-hearted, but you have to be strong. It will not take a few days. I'm a gynecologist. I know that labor lazima ikuwe na kizungumkuti kidogo. But labor must finally, lazima hiyo mimba itazaliwa. No matter how long it takes. So this strike will be delivered, I can assure you. No matter how long it takes. We can choose to make it shorter by all of us being out, or prolong it by some of us. But either way, whatever we are asking for will be delivered. As long as the SG is Davji, and I'm his deputy, and Mwachi is the chair, plus all the teams you have seen here. When we go for those meetings, we carry all of them into those meetings, because we believe that they are all equal stakeholders in deciding how this strike progresses. So nobody is going to compromise on the issues at hand, I promise you. We even said with Davji that we'd rather even let you guys troop back to work having betrayed the union. But as KMPD leadership, will never append a signature that takes an internship paying from 26 to 47,000. We will never sit where registrars offer services for free. When you fall sick, no medical cover for you, no school fees paid for you. They make you repeat, then county stop your salaries. We will never be part of that. We will never be part of a system that frustrates the youngest, the brightest into suicide, into mental anguish, into drug and alcohol abuse. We will never be part of that. We will never be part of a system that a consultant calls me crying every day that she's the only one working in the hospital. She has a sick father who is dying. She must go see the father. She can't live to go see her father, a consultant. We will never be part of that system that makes the employers to feel like we're desperate. Yes, we are desperate for better treatment of patients, for better treatment of doctors. So as we go home today, each of you purpose to talk to 5 people who are not here and tell them that the fight is bigger than Ms. Keller and Davji. We are just the faces of it, because somebody must lead it. But even when if they take us out, somebody else will pop up and take. I know Nyakio here will take the thing and run with it still. They must know that for every Davji there are 1,000 more who will rise, so that when they go for him, they should know that the idea behind it is not just Davji, it's about the masses. Sasa. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys braving the cold, the rain. That is how unions are built. Unions are built on the back of workers who believe that they deserve better. So as I take my seat, I want to invite my chairman, Dr. Abu Mati, to come make his speech. Then we will invite the SG to close. Thank you so much, and may the union make us strong. Viva KMPD, viva! Viva KMPD, viva! Viva! Asante sana.
Thank you, DSG. Doctors, first of all say congratulations, Harlequins crowned. Congratulations, Harlequins crowned. You know, for hosting the highest concentration of IQ today in Kenya. It must be a big day for them. When the minister doesn't appreciate that, can see they're happy. It's a privilege for them. Mimi ndo naitwanga Abu Mwachi. I have been sacked 11 times, and I think I'm going for my letter again this one more time. Suspended from the university of Nairobi sababu tulichoma kwa kukataa kukaliwa. Sisi hatukaliwi kwa kichwa. Ile kitu nakaa kwa kichwa yetu ni kofia peke yake, ni kwa kofia fiti. Na hatuogopi kitu yoyote. Sawa? Hata malaika akileta ufala, tamwambia niaje kama noma. Sawa? Tutachapana huko juu tuangushane. All right? Once we make a resolve, we stick by it. No matter what.
Kwanza kabisa, there's most of us here are coming up unionist. Nitakwambia kwamba nilikuwa briefcase carrier wa union ambayo mchakato wake ulianza mwaka wa 2009 Agosti. Ilipotimia Agosti tarehe 11 mwaka wa 2011 tulipata cheti cha kuratibiwa kwamba KMPDU ni chama. Of course we received a lot of opposition from the likes of civil service union, but that's now water under the bridge. What we have here is something that you have to protect through blood, sweat, and tears. If KMPDU was a tree whose growth depended on blood, Abimat will give its first 6 liters today. And that should be a conviction when you're fighting for a document that KMPDU put pen to paper in golden letters. You have to fight like you're fighting for life because you'll be a doctor forever. Watu wengine wenye paruanja ambao kuna madigri gushi, we have seen so many of them. The last time we were here, we were talking about someone who was heading Nairobi hospital called Milo. We sang and danced. I don't know if he's live and well. I hope he is, but regretting his decisions. We are here yet again, faced with the challenge of a cabinet secretary. First of all, let's make it clear, KMPDU is a political movement which believes in KMPDU ideals, so this is not a church meeting. This is a political meeting. So shades will be thrown. Because you go for funerals to throw shades at us. Picking up from my left. After my 7 years now, kama itakuwa saba kila wakati. You're faced with another small challenge, very small tiny spectacle of a challenge about cabinet secretary who hasn't put her papers in order. Essence looks like an Android logo coming to disturb our peace and presence. I should be practicing surgery. I'm a general surgeon, bariatric surgeon in Mombasa. That is what I should be doing now. Not competing with the silly voice of Nakumicha. I am learned, I don't know about her. Okay? When doctors go on strike, it is not child play. Many things are at stake. What happens mostly, and the calls we get from media mostly, and leaders on the ground is trying to guilt-trip you. Uwe shetani ashindwe. Shetani akugit. Do not feel any iota of guilt when you're doing the right thing. Sometimes, to make a good movement forward with gusto, you have to take some steps back. Just like we did in 2011, when there were just 2,000 doctors in the public sector, the strike that was short and sweet lasted 11 days, and in within no time, we had 6,000 doctors in the public sector. That is progress. Hata Yesu anasema katika kitabu takatifu, amani haiji ila kwa ncha ya panga. Sasa, and that these were dealers who thought that our resolve can be mellowed. We actually underrated the result of the Kenyan doctor, not once, not twice. They never learn. They never learn because probably they had to understand that the Kenyan doctor, once they put their foot on the ground, that is it. And for this particular time, this is it. This is it. It's time. You can't be going on strike every other time like coffee plantation workers. We have to do it once and do it nicely. them with their rhythm, confuse them a little bit, then bring them back to the fore and play a little bit with their balls. Shake them off, and win we shall. There are a few things that you might need to know. I can't say such things because, you know, they'll say that I've said them. There are bad things to say in public, so I'll restrain myself from saying, because I don't want to highlight anyone. I would say that, you know, it's very hard to run a ministry like MIH with the people from Accra Road. That I can't say, because if I say it, someone will say I've said. So I can't say. I also can't say that COG can't be run like Kizungu Mingi, that man who puts money in sacks, and it's not me who said, it's William. Kizungu Mingi na catwalk. I can't say COG can be run through catwalk like Kizungu Mingi, because if I say, they will say I've said. So I can't say. I would say that 1 month's libido cannot put this country, what, on the brink of precipice. 1 month's libido. I can't say that because it sounds like inappropriate. So I won't say it. I also won't say him, no matter how many times he relates, he will not wash away the sins of the healthcare sector. If they say what, they say I'm targeting someone. So I will not say it. But this is what I will say. Himugomo. Kanaenda kuenda. Tukiruka, tukishuka, tunashuka na mtu. Tunashuka na mtu. Now, just make it clear, we have ever walked out of our president and switched to our phones. Sasa, there's nothing new under the sun. Do you understand me? Tukipanda kama kushuka, tunashuka na mtu. Na wanajua, wameanza kutetemeka matako hivi. Tunaangalia. Fanyeni hivi. Tetemeka matako hivi. Yes, this is eyeball. So, most of you have born through blood, the placenta, and you've lived your entire life touching blood as doctors. What scares you? Are you sons of and daughters of parents? Are you? Ati sababu ati utaandikiwa barua kufutwa kazi. Shenzi. How do you think a doctor? The doctor is here. The doctor is here. Okay? Waziri anaweza kufutwa kazi kama seremala. Piga tega kama punda. Kwenda kabisa. Kwenda. You will die as a doctor. Even though your forces are being retrieved, doctor shall you be. And that is something to take with pride. A lot of pride. And if there's anything about that, you should be super pride and arrogance. Your chairman is arrogant, so should you be. Okay? Tukitoka hapa, I want us to re-energize the strike. There's some of our colleagues who are still working. I believe in Malcolmian, not Lutheran principles. And he says, there was a house Negro and a field Negro. House Negro and a field Negro. When the master got sick, was a white man. When the master got sick, the house Negro would run to the master and say, Master, we are sick. Well, the field Negro is the one that wasn't liked by the master so much, so he's put in the plantations. The field Negro was given a few crumbs of bread underneath the table, and it felt like the pain of the master is his pain. So when the master cried, the house Negro said, Master, we are crying. When the master felt sick, the house Negro was quick to say, Master, we are sick. But the field Negro kept on toiling. Let us all endeavor to be full Negroes, because that is what brings emancipation. The half Negro is worth nothing other than a few crumbs of bread of mercy thrown underneath the table. We want the full menu on the table. The full menu on the table, because you're not house Negroes. Wambia leo tuna feel pain ya magavana yao. Stop being house Negroes. Grow a few balls here and there. Try act like you have them. Because what you're doing is worse than what the people who voted on the strike are doing. You're prolonging a strike. You're prolonging the suffering of Kenyans. Get your ass off those hospitals. Join your colleagues in this bandwagon and let us retrieve, revive, and emancipate and get the profession of doctors back to our hands again, so that it's in smooth sailing. If you get on a 47,000, I will not address myself to such nonsense. Focus. Focus. That is distraction. Focus. Focus. Yeah, the goal is full implementation of CBA. We will not address ourselves to such nonsense even at the negotiating table. Now we will not stop that low. Once they're done with the shenanigans on the table, like rats, come up. You'll find us there. Well, that is their attitude. Ours a little bit higher. Ours a little bit higher. Mungu alinde.
Viva!
Allow me the honor of inviting the Secretary General to work hard. Alipigwa risasi ya akili. But tunamwombea, those are hazards of the job. Mungu awalaani awaue apatie Mungu mbaya mbaya.
Unajua ukipigwa risasi ya ubongo huharibika. Kwa hivyo kuna kile nikifanya ama nikitenda ama nikizungumza, usinilaumu, ulaumu tia. Hata kuna vitu nikisema si mimi nasema ni ile tia. Hata kuna dance nikidance sio mimi na dance ni. Hata mgomo ukiendelea sio mimi ni. Thank you so much members. I must say that it's always an honor to be in such an assembly. But I know sometimes some people are on strike wondering, why are you on strike? I know many just say we are on strike because the union gave a strike notice. And that's a very, very important thing. When people are on strike, you should be out on strike first of all, and then you ask the reason. But this strike, this time we did not see it. We did not dream about it. We did not think about it. It's a strike that government forced on us. Ideally, we were planning to be on this strike in the month of June, because we have been in a negotiation for 13 months or 14 months. But some things made it happen early. I must bring it back to the status that we have today. Currently, when a doctor is not employed in government, they are 70% unemployed. If you are only employed in a private hospital, for example, in the likes of Avenue, in the likes of Mata or these particular facilities, they give you some very useless contracts. There are 6 months, some of them are 1 year, some of them are 1 month, some of them are daily casuals. But what was the case before the union? We need to ask ourselves that. Because that's what makes all these senior consultants, that's what makes all the senior colleagues die with the union. Because they know where the union has come from and what union has done to individual doctors and to doctor fraternity in total. I must say that before 2010, before the new constitution, we were only relying in the Labor Relations Act, where at section 81 says, when you are offering essential services, you can't unionize or you can't be in the union. So for all that period, doctors could not organize themselves in the union. When they tried in 1994, they had to flee the country. So over that period up to 2010, doctors were graduating. You do internship as you live. If you are a pharmacist, you're looking out to be a company pharmacist because they're going to pay you at 80,000. If you are an MO, you do your service at Kenyatta. The next thing you out to exit because the private will pay you 100,000 or something like that. You get offers. If you're a dentist, the same way. So majority of doctors were leaving the public service because the wages were meager at that time. And therefore union came in and there was a strike that actually doubled the wages for doctors. In essence, what the union did is that it improved access of health care to the public because now public facilities were running. Many doctors were being retained. That was 2011. And again, when that happened, the private sector had to also improve the wages. Another strike was called in 2013, which didn't bring much. But then another strike for 2013 was to bring a lot, but it didn't bring because there was a CBA that was signed there that time, which was giving 300% salary increase. Then now in 2016, 6th of December, we went on strike with one agenda to get our salary increment anchored in collective bargaining agreement as per Article 41 of the Constitution and in relation to ILO Convention 98, which gives every worker right for collective bargaining. That CBA was gotten after 100 days strike. It gave us better wages, slightly better wages. It protected the terms of engagement. And terms of engagement of a worker is not only about salaries. It also means you have medical cover. It also means you have access to car loans and mortgages. It also means you have career progression. It also means you have maternity leave. It also means that as intern, you are going to enter the profession in a better terms. That's the CBA we fought for. In 2016, 2017, the CBA was registered in court in June, in July, for the Ministry of Health in July, for counties in June 2017. At that point, the government only implemented allowances. The other important part, that is the part for basic salary, was not implemented because they said whatever they signed, they did not know how to implement. In 2020, the union went to court, which took about 1 year, while we got a favorable judgment by Lady Justice Mbaru, who ordered the government to pay the basic salary arrears from July 2017 to September 2021 because the judgment was in October. But I must say that from that time to date, no salary, no basic salary arrears was paid. We therefore decided to go for industrial action in December 2022 during our SDC. We gave a notice and the government met us, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Labor, the Council of Governors. And they said, give us timelines for this thing. We are ready to pay. We had a conciliation that took 13 months, about 20 meetings and about 4 retreats, to the point that when we were updating doctors regarding basic salary arrears, they thought you were only going to these meetings for photo hoops, that there was nothing meaningful the meetings were gaining. So that was a clear plan that they were not going to implement this CBA, basic salary arrears. So we calculated and realized that doctors were owed 1.2 million from July 2017 to September 2021. Then they were owed 1.8 million between September 2021 to now this month, to the month of March. So this money keep rising or keep increasing. So we have said one thing: they have to pay the basic salary in arrears. They have to pay the basic salary in arrears. Then they saw something. The government, when they came into office on 22nd of November on JK Live, when we were agitating to have interns posted, the minister is recorded saying that Kenya is the only country where interns are paid so highly than anywhere else. And therefore she said one thing. Yeah, don't worry, that's where I come from. She said one thing. Tear gas, that tear gas. That is tear gas. So she said one thing, that she will change that. She will change the law. That she will work on it. That was her first agenda. So us seeing it this year, because we agitated, we had that agreement that interns will be posted by 1st of January. The same time they posted the other 16th of January. When we met in January 22nd, they said they'll post them February. When we met in February, they said they'll post them in March. When it reached March, we realized that they had already progressed, road to SRC, as Ms. Keller had explained, and changed and reduced the salary by 91%. I want to tell you that the CBA that protects the intern is the same CBA that protects the doctors, is the same CBA that protects the consultants, is the same CBA that has given doctors, lecturers in the universities the medical allowances that they have. It's the same one that is being used by KNH, is the same one that is being used by KTRH to protect and give the allowances that they give now. So at any point, if they violate it for interns, what makes you think that it's safe for any other doctors? What moral authority do we have to demand our arrears when they're already throtting it down for interns? Ideally, interns should not be paid 206. As per this CBA, they should be getting 231,000. So they have not implemented the CBA as per the intern's basic salary, and they really want to remove it. So this strike was brought about by those particular issues. Number one, we must have the basic salary arrears done. It will be bad, it's an injustice, it is immoral for guys to go on strike for 100 days and then we keep begging for the arrears to be paid. So one, the arrears has to be paid. Number two is that the interns must be posted in the right terms as per the CBA. That's what you're saying. That they cannot change any dots or comma on that CBA. They have to post them as such. They say they'll do it on 1st of April, but we've not seen any letters so far. It means that they were just fooling us. Number three, with the strike of 2016, 2017, 7 years ago, they've been implementing other parts. But there's one thing that came up with it, that the governors were emboldened to stop employing doctors. We are out to have doctors employed. And yesterday we were having some discussion with some members of parliament where we as a country need 50,000 doctors. We have 4,000 unemployed doctors. How can we have UHC in such a framework? So in this strike, we want to correct one thing. We want to make it like the situation for teachers and for security. That we must be given a plan. How many doctors are they going to employ? Start. Then how many doctors are they going to employ annually? Because we have to ensure that the union grows and the profession grows. By the time they have not employed doctors, and then those doctors get exploited in private facilities or engaged in locum in counties, it becomes difficult for the union to bargain. So this strike is for those doctors who are not employed to be employed. It is something that we must achieve. It's a bare minimum. It is a number one bare minimum. We may not achieve everything else, but we have to achieve that. We may not achieve everything else. We must have interns posted as per the CBA. We may not achieve anything else in this strike. We must have our basic salary arrears. There's also another important thing that all of us, or some of us, or most of us will actually experience. You may be employed by government, but you get a better opportunity in an NGO or a private sector. A time comes when you want to go for postgraduate training. As a doctor who is licensed, you are going to the hospital to work. As you learn, you are in the rota. You are seeing patients who actually pay for these services. Yet, you have to go and moonlight at night to get the fees and to live. It is wrong. It is immoral. It only happens in Kenya. So one thing also that we have that must happen, we must get away that all these doctors who are registrars, who are working in these hospitals are paid. And we have seen a situation. There's a doctor I know from Nakuru who was in Koseksa. He was on contract. When the county was confirming doctors to PNP, because he is doing Koseksa in PGH, he didn't qualify. Yet he's seeing patients in that hospital. So this must change. We have seen scenario of Kenyatta National Hospital where doctors are employed on 1 year temporary contract. And you are paid a third, 80,000. You are in the same facility with your colleagues. This is our bare minimum. We will not call off strike, not only for Kenyatta, but for the entire country if that is not sorted out. We have seen scenarios of K2TRH where even a consultant is given a 1-month contract. Some people are given daily contracts. So you are at the whims of an individual. When they feel like they want to breathe you out, they do it. When they say no, now they can call you in, they call you in. Yet you are the one who has gone to school. So it's not a favor that you be done for as an employee. It must be your rights and you must get the right terms. So before those things are changed in K2TRH, we will not call off the strike. And I must also say in MTRH, we have doctors who have been in contract for 6 years, for 7 years. We've had meetings with the former CEO, with the current CEOs. They will not change. So we have to have those doctors on the right terms. Of all those 19 issues that we put in that strike notice, the car loans and the mortgages and everything else, I keep saying that every issue that we have put in a strike notice is our bare minimum. And one thing that is very clear, that whenever we go on strikes, and you must get this, look at that strike notice and see what in it is touching you now. Don't belittle that. Know very well that other issues that may not touch you today will touch you later. Because to these consultants that we have, they'll have children who will be doctors and who will go through internship. They will also want to progress. They also want to be covered by the same CBA. So the issues that we have, they may be affecting individuals, but we have to have a collective responsibility to change it. We cannot go as interns and win the war. We cannot go as pharmacists and win the war. We cannot go as medical officers and win the war. Neither can we go as dentists and win the war. Neither can it be won by only consultants. But this war can only be won if all of us know very well that the result that will come will affect all of us. And at this point, I can now wear my hat of being a preacher. And then I tell you, I've said this story several times. But the first unionist to ever exist in this world is God himself. God was the first unionist because there's nothing that God gives people just like that. You must fight for it. And why am I saying this? I only want to give you 2 examples. That the Israelites could walk from Egypt to Canaan in 10 days. This is a story in Quran. It's a story in the Bible. And it's a story in Egyptian religion, traditional religion. They could only walk for 10 days. But we see them going for 40 years. And why did God choose Moses to lead them and not the Israelites who were living in Goshen? This story I said yesterday. The reason why he did that was one. When you are a slave, you cannot know that you are a slave. So you have not tested freedom and you cannot defend freedom. And that's why I'm telling you today, the doctors who have known the work of the union, defend the union and fight hard. It's the same thing with the Israelites. They did not know freedom. None among the slaves could lead the slaves out of slavery. It made God to raise Moses in the palace as a prince. Because now as a prince, he understands and he feels what it means to be free. He then kills an Egyptian, and then he comes to separate fellow Israelites, and then he realizes this thing is known. So he runs away because he knows there's freedom. No other Israelites could run away. He goes to Midian. There is where he sees some burning bush, I presume. After that, he's being told, now you go and remove my people from slavery. When he was explaining to the Israelites that they have to going from this place, going to freedom, they didn't understand. But he's the only one who could fight hard for it. He fought and they left. Despite the plague, the great things that he did that the Israelites saw, including crossing the Red Sea on a dry land. When they reached the other side, they were still doubting. So God had to make them stay there for 40 years. The 40 years was for them to understand freedom. We are in this strike so that the interns, the doctors, junior doctors, the unemployed who have never understood the need to have freedom can understand it. It doesn't take a day for us to understand this. It doesn't take a week. It may go 100 days like it did in 2016, 2017. But it will only go that direction if all of us resolve that yes, I am not employed, but I will not go for locum. Yes, I am not employed, but I will not run and go and beg. I will unite in this strike, because as an intern alone, you can't go on strike. You are not employed. As an unemployed doctor, you can't go on strike because you are unemployed. But the profession understands that when you are not employed, we can't bargain even for ourselves. Again in the Bible, we see the Tower of Babel. When God realized that when people are united, they can even build a Babel a tower to the heavens. It means that when we are united, even God fears people are united. Are you getting that? God, with all the powers of the miracles, when you are all speaking one language, he comes to think twice. So what about just a president who is a mere mortal like all of us? When you are united, what can we not do? There's nothing we can't do if we are united. So I'm saying we are calling on for all doctors to get united now. Because yes, one or two things may not affect you, but in entirety, you only need the union to stand for you. We will go on this strike until the issues we've raised are addressed. Finally, I know somebody say that we were going on strike just to protect the gains we've had, but no. We also need money. We've had inflation since 2016 to date. It is 8 years. The salaries we were earning in 2016 are not enough. Most of us have committed all our money to loans and just to survive. The consumer price index now is over 45%. So we are not really asking for anything. We are asking for our salary to be regularized so that it can be normal. So we have asked in that our new CBA 50% salary increase. So we want it to be discussed. It is an important agenda. We saw the ministers having a salary raise. We saw the members of parliament having 2 billion extra. So we are working, and things are not the same. The budget for this country in 2016 was just 2 trillion. Today the budget is 4.6 trillion. So we are demanding that part of our taxes be our wages. By the way, it's very clear. We only have 3 matrix: the employer, the workers, and the government. if you are working in a private sector, you must look at the profit, because the business aim is to get profit. The government's aim is to get taxes. And our aim as employee is to get wages. So we must negotiate. When taxes go up, our salary has to go. It is a linear correlation. So we are expecting to have about 50% salary increase, and it's part of the reason why we are fighting. Yes, it may be hidden somewhere on all this intern, all these issues, which we believe these are not problems, by the way. To put it clear, internship is not an issue. It's a problem that was created by the Ministry of Health. They must sort it out. So it's not even an issue we need to discuss. The issue of medical cover. We had an enhanced cover. Our medical allowance was taken away. It's a thing we can't discuss. They brought an act called SHIF by our employers. So we expect our employers to give us cover. We can't discuss it. They have to implement the other CBA. But then we have to discuss the issue of. So we will not go on call of this strike if we don't know how much money we are having to cover the inflation in the country. So let's stay on. Let's stay hard. We have just started. We have covered the first 20% of the strike. So we have 80% long haul to go. We must all know that it is only through this that we're going to gain our dignity. There's one thing I keep on saying, that we must all be ready to lose everything that we have for us to gain the dignity that we deserve. The dignity of an intern is the dignity of the profession. The dignity of a doctor working in any of the facilities across the country is our dignity. The dignity of the consultant is our dignity. So we must all stay together until we realize this. Thank you.